Yeah,
in
so you
Boston.
you were like kind of always sporty growing up. Like we were talking before this, like you did soccer, well, you did soccer and swim. No, you didn't say swimming. You did football, baseball, basketball.
Now it was like that. It's like, everyone does like soccer and basketball when they're like 10.
Yeah.
And then like you're like, no, this isn't what I want to do. And you kind of like do like as much as you can in the beginning and then branch out to what you like really care about. So it was mostly like high school was just baseball in the spring, hockey during the winter, and then golf was during the fall.
Yeah. And like you still are, I feel like after college you've been a pretty active guy. Like you still like do all these hobbies, you still do a lot of these like sports. You find time for it.
Yeah, yeah, because I don't like going to the gym. So I'm like, this is I don't like going to the gym. I don't like running, even though I started running again, but I was like, I don't like doing this stuff. So in order to like stay at least somewhat in shape, I'm going to do like stuff that's actually like fun.
Yeah. Well, you've always been like I feel like you've always been very in shape or like pretty athletic. Like, did you go through any like weight fluctuations? Did you go any up and downs?
Not really. I think I weighed the most in like college and then just like kept that the entire time
Yeah.
and just like never really went above like 180 and then just went like that was like my max. I just like stayed like that for like years.
Yeah. And then after that, you've just like stayed with the finding time for like hobbies and sports and things like
Yeah, yeah, like golf as much as I can. After college, we do like volo. So we did like softball leagues for a couple like seasons, did volleyball, um, beach volleyball, which is a blast, and then hockey. And then obviously golf as much as possible, skiing during the
yeah.
winter.
Well, I feel like Volo is a regional thing because I told my brother who's very similar to you, he plays lots of
Mhm.
sports, church league basketball, like always doing pickup. Right now he's in like a men's softball league. And I told him I'm like, you should check out Volo. And he keeps going like, what is Volo? So I don't know if it's
Yeah,
a Boston thing or like major cities only, but
yeah. I know there's a bunch in Massachusetts. I'm not sure if it's like it might just be like a New England thing.
well, he's in Connecticut, so I don't know
Hmm.
what the deal is over there. So you still do that. So you were those like mostly tied to Wilmington, or were they just kind of wherever? Like, because you were living in the city, then you were back at home. Like, did you just find them?
Yeah. Yeah, so like so for a lot of the Volo stuff, um, I have a lot of friends in South Boston, so it was mostly
Yeah.
like Southie area. I think softball was like Mowgli. Beach volleyball is at Carson Beach right now.
Okay.
So those ones. For hockey, I had a friend from high school who was playing in New Hampshire, and then one day he's like, "Hey, we need like guys to we need a sub. Do you want to play?" I was like, "Sure, I'll play." And it was a bunch of like cool guys, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we usually need subs, so if you want to play, like you can like we'll put you in the group chat. You can play as much as you can." And then I ended up like staying with that team even after my buddy left. Kind of
Yeah.
like took over for him and just played that for like 3 years. When I was doing my master's, me and Devin Lasher, I don't know if you remember him.
Oh yeah.
We tried a men's league in Rhode Island, but it was like they played at the Prov rink,
Yeah.
and
I was there this weekend. I was at the Providence Brewing
yeah,
this weekend.
which is like really, it's like it was nice. Right? It was like the school rink, and it was like really nice. And we didn't. I guess it was my first men's league, so I had like no idea like what level to do, and I hadn't played hockey or skated in like 4 years since high school. So I'm like, oh, let's just do like the novice one. Like I'm like, it's a college town. Like maybe they're gonna be like this is like my first. I haven't played in 4 years. Let's just do this one. And there were people like who like could barely skate,
Yeah.
and me and Lasher were like scoring like 4 goals a game. Like kicked us out of the league halfway through, and like, yeah, you guys aren't like supposed to be here. So they gave us our money back, and
What was
we got like free, basically free skates for like half a season.
That's hilarious. What was the league? So it was like a like it was like a college age league, like undergrads?
No, they were like there was somebody with a we like first walked in there. It was someone like um Providence College like hockey bag, and we're like, damn, these guys are gonna be like nasty. It turns out it was like a teacher or something, or like there, or like his daughter went there, and he was like not great, and I was like, oh, so it's just like a bunch of like kind of like older guys who like some of them were like just starting. I think it was like a 70-year-old guy on there,
Yeah.
but they also like put us on the team that won last year, so we were like already on a good team.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then we're like the youngest guys there, and they're just like, this isn't even fair. And I was like, yeah, I kind of get that.
Well, Jared, I don't know if you ever played like a men's league with Jared, but
I played against him once,
oh, did
like
you?
randomly, like absolutely randomly. I was like, holy shit.
Who was better?
His team was way better. Our team was a bunch of old guys, and we like sucked. Well, we were supposed to play again, but I was away that time.
So me and Bedizian and Jared went to Myrtle Beach in like 2022. And
Hmm.
I remember it was only a 5 night trip. And we were all supposed to be there for like, 5 nights, like planned. And he goes, it's day 2 of the trip. He goes, yeah, I'm actually flying back to Massachusetts. And I'm like, for what? And he's got a playoff hockey game that he had to go
Yeah,
to. It's like for a men's league. He flew
huge. It's a
back.
huge deal.
Yeah,
All
he
my
lost a day of a 5 day vacation for a men's hockey
yeah,
league.
I would schedule my trips around. I mean, it's expensive. It's like $400 a season. It's
Yeah.
like you gotta like make every single game. I'd schedule my like trips around it. I'd be like Tuesday to Monday, I go to Florida, so that way Wednesday I can still play hockey.
I mean, I get it. If you can help it. And I think it was just funny to me. I was like, we literally drove like 15 hours on
Oh,
Monday or
jeez.
Sunday. And then like Tuesday, he was like, yeah, I'm flying back up. I'm like, well, why didn't we just fly here to begin with? Like
Honestly, now he's sticking you with the driving.
I
He
couldn't
wanted
have
he wanted to save money for the trip back.
if I were him, I would have just skipped the drive and I'll meet you 2 days in. Like I'm not driving
Yeah.
with you guys. Um that's funny, man. We were talking also like, the men's leagues, it really just depends on like who you get because your league was like a little bit older, but like some of the guys were way tougher. Jared told
Yeah.
me a funny story where he was like when he was little, like in like the 5 and 6 and 7 year old leagues, they would go to the Bruins, they would go to like TD Garden and come on at halftime or whatever,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and they would just he was like the goal was just to deck other kids as hard as you like not to score.
It is so, especially when you see the little kids doing that, you're just like cheering, like
Like,
you're like
yeah.
just cheering so hard, like, oh, bro, this is amazing. You're harder than the regular game.
Dude, that's what is interesting about North Shore, Mass. Like what is you grew up in the North Shore. Is there like are you a big like North Shore pride, like roast beef, hockey, like Duncan kind of? Because I feel like you give me a little bit of that.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely dunking for sure. I get it like every day. Huge into the dunk points. But yeah, I guess like North Shore, just hockey. Stay up here as much as I'm always like I always prefer to be north of the tunnel because I also like New Hampshire and
Yeah,
everything like that. I'm more of like lake over beach. So like the Cape, I'm just not even like I've been in the Cape like twice
yeah.
in the past like 10 years. And but it's only with like other people making me. So I'm always like I'd rather go like skiing or going to like a lake house over the beach house. So I prefer being like up north. That's where all the good like mountains are. Of course, all the good golf is like west or south, but
What's the
usually
big
just
like?
stay north of the tunnel.
What's the big beef between South Shore and North Shore? Like I'm from Connecticut, so I learned that
I
like
just hate Connecticut. Just that
everybody
state.
hates
I don't
Connecticut.
I don't believe that state should be a state. I don't think you have anything working for you
I
at
think
all.
we have I'm right there with you. Usually when I introduce myself to people, they'll be like, I'll give someone my number, they'll be like, 203, where are you from? I'm like, Connecticut, unfortunately. Is my
I
joke
hate
because
it.
it's like, what do you have? You have insurance? We do have really good pizza, I think. That's the one thing
No,
Connecticut does have going for it.
everyone has pizza that's like fine. It's just like that's your only thing. Every single person has pizza. And you're
We have
just like, no,
insurance.
like even around there, like, oh, best New York style pizza, whatever. It's just like pizza's pizza. I'm
No,
not gonna like I'm not gonna go out of my way to like go to Connecticut just for pizza. Like what?
it's the ultimate pass-through state, but in New Haven specifically, like that style of like thin crust, really crispy pizza, like I'm a fan because I grew up with that, but I'm not like that's the only like I'm more of like a thick kind of guy, but I gotta
I can
give
tell.
there's nothing around here that's even similar. But
Then eat something else. I don't know. I'm not going to a state
go
just
back to
for pizza.
Connecticut, buddy.
Everyone in Connecticut like brags about it's like that's like all you have, like pizza. I'm not gonna go to Connecticut for a slice of pizza and then leave.
Well,
And
we don't
everyone's
have a
like,
sports
oh,
franchise.
Connecticut's like, oh, we're so close to New York, we're so close to Boston. Sick, go there. It's just
Yeah.
like you got nothing.
I think there should be Eastern New York. They should split Connecticut into
Yeah,
Eastern New York and Southwestern Massachusetts.
yeah.
Something like
Honestly,
that.
it's like Rhode Island's small too, but you don't see Rhode Island bragging about anything.
And Rhode Island
Connecticut,
doesn't
like
play much.
everyone from Connecticut tries to tell you that like Connecticut's great. It's like it's not. There's
Not me.
nothing there good.
I'm trying to sell my brothers on moving up to Boston because I am a big proponent of all things Boston because it's just you've got universities, you've got the public transport, you've got safety, you've got tech, you've got health, like the hospitals are great. Like, so I get it. What is the big deal? What is the big beef between North Shore and South Shore? Like, why, like, I hear a lot like North Shore is like more humble, South Shore is like more pretentious or more like kind of snarky or like more like rich, kind of ritzy people. Like, what's the deal?
I have no clue. I don't really spend a lot of time in the South Shore. South is like the most south I go is South Boston. So I don't really consider that South Shore. Like everything else is just with traffic like 2 hours of the way. I'm like
Yeah.
not gonna make a trip to go to South Shore for like no reason.
Yeah.
It's like probably the farthest I've been is like Quincy.
But growing up,
And even
like, did
that's
you
like
guys ever play other schools from the South Shore in sports and just roast them?
not really. I mean, we just like public high school just stayed kind of like in your district or like
Yeah.
not really much. I mean, like I feel like people like from like Revere and like there's not like all like everyone kind of just stays North Shore. You're already driving a ton. You
Yeah.
don't really want to drive like for tournaments and everything. You don't want to drive an hour to get to practice too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like everything I played was just kind of like one of our teams like North Shore Shamrocks. And it was just like up here. I didn't really play a lot of like that I remember like South Shore teams I didn't even care about.
So what you're saying is what you weren't good enough to play on the travel teams is what you're saying.
Probably, yeah. Basically, that or I don't remember.
Yeah, this is coming from someone who recently, as a 29-year-old, played a Volo basketball league for the first time in
Oh
maybe
God.
10 years, and I scored a wrong goal on the wrong side of the.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. That checks out.
That
I would
summarizes my
expect
athletic
nothing.
career.
I'm actually surprised you even got it in on your own basket.
Me too. So you
Even
make
that's
that
pretty
fast break,
impressive.
and I'm like, wow, I'm really unguarded. Oh, like that's a pretty
Tough.
embarrassing moment.
The fact that you call it a goal is even more embarrassing than
Yeah,
actually doing it.
So I think technically a basket is called a field goal by the rules of
Depends.
basketball.
It depends on where you are on the court.
I don't know, man. I think if you check the rules, it's called a field goal. If you look
Yeah,
up the
I'm
rules
pretty
of
sure that's like
basketball,
for sure it's only like in like the paint or like in the key. I don't think that's like a 3 pointer is like a 3 pointer.
I'd have to
Free throw.
I'd have to consult the book, man.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. Basketball isn't my thing. I think it's too boring.
I'm not going to go toe to toe with you on sports because that's where I will embarrass myself. But what
Angel Loops over here.
I did want to ask, so like when you got this life kind of set up, you tried the renting life in Cambridge a little bit. You went back up to live at home. COVID kind of threw things off. Like when you decided to first kind of like start shopping, it sounds like you knew you were going for something after the rental. You wanted a condo. Like what was like how was the journey? And like, in general, like with me, without me, like how was it like from start to finish?
Yeah, so like for like just location, when I lived in Cambridge, I like loved location. I was like very close to the T, both red line and green line. I could like walk everywhere. I was like walking to dunks every day, walking to the T. Kind of only drove. I was going to hockey or going golfing. So like that was like one of like my big things. Like, oh, this is perfect. I can walk everywhere. I love walking.
Yeah.
I love taking the T. Sometimes to the bus. Wasn't a big fan of the bus. Prefer the T. So I
Yeah.
was like, oh, one of my main things like I want to be close to the T. So I was like, I'm like, I want to be north of the tunnel. Didn't really like being in Boston in case I want to go home or go to hockey in New Hampshire. I didn't
Yep.
want to deal with that traffic. Um, and I wanted to be able to take the train into the city. So that was like my big thing. I remember, I think we started the process in last November. That was like the first time I kind of had my meeting
Yeah.
with you and Courtney in your office, kind of
Yep.
going through everything. And at that time, I still wasn't like 100% sure of what I wanted to do. I had kind of like a location, kind of like a price range, size, all that stuff, but I wasn't 100% sure. So I was like, I kind of just want to start this process, start kind of looking through the links like you sent me. But I'm not really ready to start until maybe like April because I had like some plans going on.
Yeah.
I was up for like pay increase, stuff like that. So I kind of want to do that, get like all my kind of eggs in like one basket, like all my ducks in a row, kind of figure out what I want to do. And then I think early January, it was like a couple months after that meeting, Courtney messaged me about like she's like, I know you're not really ready yet, but there's this condo that kind of fits everything you want. It's like a mile from the T, just outside of Boston. I think it was Malden.
Yeah.
2 bed, um, low HOA is like every like in your price range, a little bit higher, like everything you want. If you want to go take a look, and I was like, sure, I'll take a look. Don't even like no really expectations. Just kind of like, oh, kind of see what the process is, what it's like looking at this. We can like talk about it, figure it out. And I love the place. Like everything kind of worked out and everything
Yeah.
like looked really good. And I was like, actually, I kind of want to put a offer on this. Yeah, like laundry and unit was a big thing I wanted. Close to the T, good parking, not really a lot of it wasn't like a big high rise, there's only 2 floors.
This was
So everything kind of like, yeah, kind of checked all the boxes, even though I wasn't looking. So we went through the process like months before I was even really like expecting to do it. Put the offer in, didn't get it, which was really fine. It's not like I had expectations I wanted to, didn't really have a time range or anything, but like just going through all of that was great. And then kind of also like sparked like, okay, so now I know kind of what I'm looking at. I guess I am kind of ready to start this process, like
yeah.
going like through pre-approval and everything. Um, Still wasn't exactly rushed because like I was fine where I was, wasn't getting kicked out or anything.
Right.
So didn't really have a, like, wasn't really rushed, but I was like kind of like ready to start looking at that point. I think that was like in January.
Your parents weren't going to evict you just yet.
No, no, they're like, you can stay here as long as I want. I'm like, yeah, that's the issue. I don't want to. That's not exactly what I'm looking to do right now. Um, but yeah, so like that was like the first time I saw a place was in January. Kept looking at the MLS, looked at all the places, flagged anything that I liked. At that point, we were still only looking at like Malden, Melrose, um, in that area, kind of by the Orange Line, in
Yeah.
that in between Boston and where I lived. Um, those places seemed to be like more expensive. We decided like, hey, let's look at like other places, a little bit more flexible. Kind of like took some looks at places in Quincy, and those were all farther than where kind of I wanted to be.
Yeah. I
Um,
remember we did that one or that couple like
yeah,
weekend or 1 or 2 weekends or something like that. I think we looked at those Quincy ones
mhm.
because like
Yeah, and it
Quincy
was like,
is a great option for someone who's
yeah,
like, young professional, like you're looking for something reasonable. It's got all the
mhm.
things you were saying, but like I feel like it wasn't the right vibe.
Yeah, yeah. When we went there, it was like definitely high rise. There was like 15 floors,
Yeah.
way different than what we were looking up more north, and the prices were a lot cheaper, but HOA fees were like double because it was like so
Yeah.
many more units. It was like pool, flood insurance, all that. So like the HOA fees like were double what we were looking at um, by Melrose Methuen, but the prices were a little bit lower. So it's
Right.
kind of like trade-offs for that. But yeah, none of the places we looked at really kind of like were the same as like that first one I looked at. Kind of like what I was looking for. So again, like no rush. We just kept looking until I think finally like August, I think it was when I found the one that we ended up going with. And of course, it was the one
Wow.
time. It was
Yeah.
of course like the one time you guys couldn't go. So it was like just
Yeah.
me, and I'm like, oh, because like that first one we looked at, I think I put 10K over asking, and like they didn't even like they were like, no, you're not even close. So I was like, oh man, compared to this one, the one I was looking at, I'm like, oh, this is gonna go way over the asking price too. I'm probably not gonna have a chance for
And
this
the
at
first
all.
one was like, what was it? It was like 500 or something, and you went to 510, or it was like,
It was I think it was put at 465 and we did
yeah,
475. And I think it sold for
that
around
was
five.
in January, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's so
Yeah.
funny because like the market this year, 2025, like right now, what is it? Mid-October, end of October, like
Hmm.
it's totally different than it was even 3 months
Yeah.
ago. And like back
Hmm.
then, you were still getting multiple offers. Now, if you look, they're all like
Yeah.
spitting and like price reduction. So it's like
Hmm.
it's totally changed.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, finally in August, after looking, I think we looked at like 4 or 5 places after that first one.
Yeah.
It was just me and my parents who went to go look because it was kind of like a heavy vacation.
Yep.
So it was like, oh, you guys can't go, but like we'll just go check it out. Like, what's the harm? Probably won't get this one because it's probably gonna go more, but it'll be cool to check out. And it was also like a little bit outside of where I wanted to be. Like Stoneham was like the next town over, so I got not too far away,
Right.
but it wasn't like exactly what I was looking for. Um, but yeah, when I looked at the place, it had like everything I wanted. It looked great. Two bed, had laundry in unit,
Yeah.
newly done like bathrooms and everything. And I was like, oh, this place looks awesome. Like, I definitely want to put an offer here. It was actually like a good location right in the center of town, not too far from Boston, not
Yeah.
too far from home. So like, it's actually perfect. I actually think I'm going to put an offer in this one. And the rates actually lowered. So I was actually able to do higher amount because I could afford more with the rates
What did
being
you
lower.
like 6.5?
Yeah, it was like I think like 6.3.
Yeah,
So it's like
that's
yeah,
still pretty good. Yeah.
yeah. So it was like it was a definitely got a lower rate. So I was like, oh, perfect. I can go a little bit more. So I think I went 20 over asking, which I think was like 10K more than the last one I
Yeah.
did. And I think there were still two or three other offers, but at least this time I was like in the running. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I actually have like a chance for this one. And then after a little bit, it was you got it, which was great. So I was like really, really happy with that. And it wasn't like too long of a process. Because I know like my parents were looking at a place in Florida and it took them like they were like looking for like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
They kept like saying like, oh, don't worry, it might take like years for you to get it. I'm like, I really hope it doesn't. But like again, like, luckily I don't have a huge like rush.
Yeah.
But yeah, it took like almost a year of
Well, you're,
searching.
yeah, you know what? It's funny because like to me it felt so fast, but like
Yeah.
I forgot that we actually met in November 1st. Like
Hmm.
you decided you wanted to start looking, and then January you first one, and then it took a couple months, and it wasn't like, hey, let's go, go, go. And I think that
Yeah.
happens a lot where people take. I always tell people like 6 months, but sometimes it
Hmm.
takes a year. I don't find that people take like multiple years anymore because
Yeah.
like if you're looking for maybe like a second home, you can be a little more picky. You know,
Hmm.
you can be a little bit more like
Yeah.
discerning. You don't have to buy that. Just like you didn't have to buy it.
Yes.
But your
Yeah.
reason was like, I don't want to live at home. Like I want to buy a place of my own eventually. You know, so
Yeah.
there was a little bit of that impetus to move. Um, yeah, man. Well, that I mean, it's exciting. And then I wanted to talk about the fridge specifically.
Hmm.
So what happened there?
So yeah, when in their listing, they basically said all of the appliances are included except for the fridge. And it was just kind of like, that's so weird. I don't want to have to like be buying a fridge. I mean, it was a nice fridge and everything,
Yeah,
but it was just like kind of like crazy. So I was like, when you did the offer letter, you like did all appliances and you made sure to write in the fridge.
yeah,
And I was like, great, I do want that fridge. And they came back being like, hey, I don't know if you saw, but the listing said that the fridge wasn't included. Like, oh yeah, we know, but we do want it. We're
yeah.
doing like 20K over asking. I feel like the least that we could do is get the fridge too, not spend extra money. So after a little bit of like back and forth, we were able to get that fridge for me, which I'm very excited about.
I mean, it's a night like so. What's even weirder is like on my end. So as I'm representing you as the buyer, like the listing agent has to do their job, represent the seller, like get everything. And usually, when you write an offer on somewhere that's even like anywhere you write, you include like all appliances, like all
Yeah,
fixed appliances. So to me, like it was weird that they were leaving out the fridge and
yeah,
it's like this $2,000 like I don't know what is it like a thin IQ or something like that. It's like a glass fridge.
yeah. It has like a glass door that you can open. It's like
So
almost like a two drawer door that
yeah.
you can like, open the first layer and then the second layer.
So it's like an upgraded fridge, but it wasn't like
Yeah,
this like massive. So I get it. So she said to me, the listing agent, she was like, yeah, they actually want to like keep that fridge. So do you think your client's like willing to leave it? And what was it like 445 and then we offered 465 or something like that?
it was 465. We offered 485.
So we're coming to you, and I think there was multiple offers. That was the only reason we went over was because
Yeah,
there were like one or two other offers, and it's like we're putting, and you put a good amount down. It's like we're putting a good amount down. We're going 20K over, and then they're like, yeah, but we actually want the fridge. So I called her and I was like, what's the deal? Is this like a brand new fridge? She's like, no, it's actually, a used fridge. And I was like, well, do they not have a fridge at their next house? Because they were selling this condo. It was like a young couple
yeah,
buy a bigger single family. She's like, no, they actually have a fridge at this new one. They just want to take this fridge too. I'm like, what are we doing? Like,
yeah.
it's so stupid.
They're crazy.
And for 20K, I was like, well, how much is this fridge? And it was like 1,800 or like $2,000. It's like just take the money. You're profiting 18,000 from our offer. Like,
Yeah.
I'll never understand that, but
Yeah, definitely a little crazy. And I think like when like the whole process of like buying in like UK or something or Germany it was, and like they take all their appliances. You were telling us like they take all their appliances with them, and we're
yeah.
like, could you imagine like having to do that? I feel like it's more of a pain to like take stuff with you. I'd rather leave everything and then just like have everything already there in the new place.
Well, Jared actually, we ended up putting in a provision, about his like one of the, I won't talk about his purchase too much, but like one thing that helped us get a little bit of a deal when he was buying was he had an older, somebody had passed away, and so their house
Mhm.
was full of junk. So the basement was
Yeah,
like full to the brim, and we were like, hey, leave everything there, because they were telling us as we got closer to closing, they were like, hey, we're gonna, have to move all this stuff. It's gonna take a dumpster in a day. And we were like, leave all that stuff there. We'll get $3,000 off, as a credit.
yeah, yeah.
And they gave it to us. And that was like,
Oh, nice.
because people don't want to move stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like it'd
And
be the same way. It'd be like whatever makes it easier. Like I'm supposed to be getting a U-Haul for Monday, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna be such a pain bringing everything in.
yeah,
And I'm like, I just can't wait for the whole move-in process to be finally over.
yeah. And you're not even moved in yet.
No, yep.
It's been what, a month?
Yeah, I was like, I think we closed like September 10th, something like that. So yeah,
A
we've been
month.
doing like painting. Yeah, we did painting, cleaning, electrical stuff, like fixed a door, stuff like that. Like little stuff that was like, it's gonna be so much easier to do all this without a bunch of furniture in our way. So like,
Yeah.
let's just do as much as we can now. Because again, like I don't, not really in a huge rush. It's not like I have to do all this in a certain time.
You don't have to move you don't have to move all your cabinets like in Germany.
Yeah, yeah, that would be crazy.
I was told that by some renters. They were from like one of the Eastern European countries and they had lived all over. And they told me that in Germany, they asked me one time in Somerville, they were like, does the kitchen come with it?
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, like of course the kitchen comes with it. And they were like, well, that's actually a good question because in Germany, you unscrew all your cabinets and you take your kitchen in a rental, which is
that's
just
insane.
crazy to me.
That
But
is crazy. That
I,
would be so annoying. Every single like, especially if you move like they do in like South, like every almost every month,
yeah.
having to every year having to do that would be so crazy.
Yeah, it's different. Everywhere you go, Japan is like I have friends who have lived in Japan and own property in Japan, and it's like there everything is like super, super tiny and efficient
Mhm.
size. You know,
Yeah,
it's cool to see how like different countries do it differently. Um,
yeah,
you said you had a couple of projects, like you bought it and it was pretty much move-in ready. You weren't doing any renovations, so it was like
yeah,
move-in ready when you bought it. Like what projects did you have to do?
yeah. So we just basically wanted to do a fresh coat of paint. We just kept the same color. Where like while everything's like completely empty, it'll be so much easy. It'll be easy just to do a new fresh coat of paint on the walls. For the closets, we wanted to take down kind of the closet racks they had. It was a little bit
Yep.
older. So we took those down, repainted the closets. There was some marks in there. Um, so for all three of the closets, uh, painted every wall. Um, and then we redid some of the electrical outlets and covers. We just updated them, made them a little bit newer. And then the door to the master bathroom like kept getting like stuck on the
Yeah.
floor.
Yep.
So we took that off and shaved like a quarter of an inch or something off of that with the saw just to make it easier. Now it like so much easier, it doesn't get stuck anymore. So that was huge. And yeah, basically like like just updating like very small things, nothing crazy.
Yeah. What was like the biggest, like misconception you had about the process? Like, did you come in thinking one thing was going to happen and something totally different happened?
Um, Not like necessarily. I mean, I was very new, but I was very like open minded. Like I didn't really have any conception in the beginning. I wasn't really like expecting anything. It's kind of
Yeah.
just like learning as we're going, like as we're going. So definitely wasn't the same as like looking for an apartment. Like that's like a little bit different for me. I feel like I had a lot more like options to like look at other
Yeah.
than like when you're getting a place and I'm really like, looking for like I'm like you gotta remind yourself like this isn't like this 1 year and you can leave whenever you want. Like this is gonna be like some place you want to live for like 5 years or whatever. So I was like, I want to make sure like I can like keep everything that I want to keep, but also be flexible where I can, like
Yep.
location and everything. So it was like more just being like open-minded, being patient, kind of like helped with like not really getting like down for anything. Like, oh no, I haven't found a place in this long. What
Yeah.
am I gonna do? It was more like, oh, this is fine. Just like keep like just be patient, keep going. So I don't really have like any like kind of like thoughts about it like that were like a little bit like different than what actually happened.
Yep.
Um, yeah.
Got it. So you okay. I know we're pressing up against time, so we'll wrap it up pretty soon. Um, best part and worst part of the process.
Uh, Best part was finally getting an offer accepted, I would say. That was a good thing. Worst part was like kind of like nerve-wracking after we were accepted. I was
Yeah.
like you're kind of like, all right, offers accepted. This is like the closing date. Make sure like everything's in before then.
Yeah.
And like that's when you're like dealing with like actual money. Like you have to get like the lawyer, the insurance, the mortgage people, like everyone's like asking for you, like asking for you to look over stuff, asking you to sign stuff. And it was kind of just like, I don't want to like make any mistakes. I don't want to like sign my life away. Like that's like kind of when you're like, oh, I hope I'm like doing like the right thing. Like make sure I don't make any mistakes, sign the wrong thing, give someone the wrong information, miss something.
Right.
So that was probably like the most like nerve-wracking part, I would say. I don't know if it's like the worst part, but that was definitely like the most nervous I was, like when I was actually like, cool, you were accepted. Now it's like real. Here's like all the stuff you have to do. So that
Yeah.
was definitely the most nerve-wracking stuff. Um, yeah, I wouldn't really say there was like a worst part. It wasn't like probably the worst part was like traveling to all the places.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you have to find a place. Now you have to like now you're like taking the day to like go look at this place. And if you have only one location, you're driving like 30, 45 minutes to go look at a place for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right. So that was like, and it's especially if it wasn't the one you like was like, oh, this isn't really what I'm looking for. You're kind of just like, oh, I just kind of like wasted half my day
Yeah.
looking at this place for like 10 minutes. So I mean, best part, definitely getting it. Nerve-wracking after that. You're kind of excited for it just to be over. You're like, all right, let's just get to the closing
Yeah.
so I can like finally be done with this whole thing. So kind of like a nervous excitedness about that.
And I think that's where the trust comes in between like and not to like toot my own horn, but like I feel like we already had a good relationship before because
Yeah,
we're friends and we hung out. But also like your attorney Mike, like you knew him like because I had recommended an attorney initially who
yeah,
realtors we all have our like preferred attorneys because we've worked with them before, like because we know they
mhm,
do a good job or we know they don't make mistakes. And you had picked Mike because he was on your hockey team. So it's like,
yeah,
you knew I feel like at least you knew somebody you could trust was helping you.
yeah, yeah. And it was like, it worked out because he like lives and works like 10 minutes down the road,
Yeah.
and I already had his number, so it was like very easy. Like, I knew I can get in contact with him.
Yep.
Very easy. Like already like had a good friendly relationship, so like I could trust him and everything. Like I knew he wasn't gonna um like charge anything to. I really didn't know like what to expect, so it was kind of like I'm like, oh, like is this like right? Like am I like doing like the right thing? Am I getting like the right person, whatever? And like him being like, oh yeah, I do this all the time. Like oh, this is like
Yeah.
perfect. I can just like leave it to him. Like I know where he is. I know what he's done. He's worked for the town before. Like
Yep.
a bunch of people already knew him. Like that mortgage, like the mortgage person I was doing the mortgage from already knew him, and he said he hadn't
Uh,
worked with him for
Matt
like 10 years.
Spo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Matt
like he's
knows
like
him
I
too.
haven't. He's like yeah, I haven't worked for him for like 10 years, but yeah, I definitely know who he is. I'm like oh, that's a good
Yeah.
sign. So like he definitely like knows what he was doing. So like yeah, I try to like kind of work with like people I kind of already knew, like for insurance. Um, Someone my dad golfs with on his golf league helped me with it too. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like it like kind of like took a lot of the stress out of it, like having like being able to like text someone or call somebody instead of like working through like emails or something or like actually putting like a name to the face and knowing them. I feel like it was a big help. So that definitely helped the process out a lot.
Hell yeah, man. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you for, coming on. Thank you for trusting me with the purchase. And I'm glad we were able to get it done. And, here we are almost a year later to the day. So
Of
that's great.
course, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for all your help during this process. You were a huge help. You were awesome.
I love just being the comedic relief sometimes. That's my goal, in the
Yep. You do it effortlessly.
I do it effortlessly and then just roast myself.
Yep.
Friend,
Doesn't
thank you
take
so
much.
much. Enjoy your weekend and I will talk to you soon, man.
Hello. Sounds good.
All right, later.
See ya. Keep it that way.
Speaking of, that's like we'll cut that first part out. Um, yeah, man, it's like I feel like and I was talking about this with Christine and Matt. Like, I think like we did our first interview with them, or like I did my first interview with Christine and Matt, and like they were the first ones to say it. They were like, "Oh, I wish I spent more on my house than I did my wedding." And I feel like coming from me, that's like such a like bullshit. That's like, oh, that's such an agenda question.
Yeah,
But like I feel like it's tough in our age group because people are getting engaged and people are getting married and people do have these expenses coming up and people do have like houses coming up and stuff like that. And it's just like, it's a lot, and especially in our marketplace, like it's
yeah,
expensive.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I feel like it just depends on where the market is right now. Is it worth it to rent? Is it worth it to buy? What can you afford? Stuff like that.
Yeah. And like, so I know you lived at home for a while, and I'm from Connecticut, so I was not able to live at home, but a lot of my friends who are owning houses or buying houses now either lived at home for a while or like went super, super cheap on their rent and like made that sacrifice like upfront. Was there like a time where you were like, all right, I need to get out? Or were you just like, I could like kind of live at home for as long as you like, when did you get sick of it?
Feel like it was more just kind of a trade-off. Like it's gonna be worth it in the end. Like I wasn't like too upset about it. Obviously, I wanted to leave like as soon as I could, but I
Yeah.
was also like, I don't really want to rent right now. Like I did that renting for a year or two,
Yeah.
and after like seeing like, oh, I just spent like 15, 20 grand and now I'm leaving and I get like nothing back. So it's just kind of like I'm not going to do renting anymore. I want to get a place, have that investment for the future. And I'm just basically going to do whatever it takes to get it, take my time, not rush, get something that I really wanted. So I didn't really care too much about living at home. I was really lucky that I could. I don't think it would have been a lot harder to save up not being able to do that in my case, doing like single income. I feel like
Yeah.
if you had like the double income, it's like so much easier.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wasn't really in too much of a rush to leave, but I was also like, I'm ready to leave.
Yeah. And also like, Tom being your roommate, that was probably a big,
Yeah, basically Tom and Lauren,
you
two
were like, all
roommates.
right. Well, your parents I got to meet. They're obviously very cool. Like, it's you and your brother who was living there. Um, you know, like when you were like first thinking, and I feel like a lot of people don't just like one day decide, all right, I'm gonna buy a house. But like, was that feeling like gradual? Did you always know, like even when you were renting with Tom, that you were gonna buy something, or were you just like, it'll be nice if it comes up? Like,
It was more like knowing that the lease was up and that Tom was moving out. I was like, do I want to do renting again or do I want to go for the condo or home? And it was definitely like, I don't want to rent. I don't want to worry about having to get a new roommate, find all that stuff, find a place in such like short notice. Because like once you're out in that September date, you kind of have to find something in that September date. It's really hard to find those renting windows. So I was like, I'm going to be more flexible. I want to get a condo. I want to invest. So it's basically like when we had this, like, started having the conversation when the lease is up, like, what am I going to do next? And it was really like, I done the whole renting thing. I think that there's a better option for me to do it, and I was going to go straight to the condo. So yeah, so I decided to talk to my parents about it, and they thought it was a good idea too, and just getting an extra opinion. So worked out.
and also I feel like you could have looked for like a one bedroom too, but what were you guys paying? You were paying like what, like 3,000 for two bedroom back in the day?
Yeah, I think mine. I think my half was around 1,500
And that was like
for like a small two bedroom.
pre-COVID.
Yeah, it was no, it was right after because I know when I was doing my master's, that's when COVID started. So it was like right after.
It was right after COVID, so like 2021.
Yeah, it was around then. Because I did master's from 2019 to I think 2020, 2021.
Yeah.
So it was right after that.
2021 was when the rental prices were going crazy. I mean, they're always crazy. I feel like Cambridge, especially, or like anywhere in
Mhm.
Boston, they're crazy. But right now, it's weird. Like 2024 and 2025, like they kind of took a little bit of a dip. And I don't know if you have like coworkers who've experienced this, but like a lot of people are work from home. You don't have to go live in Cambridge and pay Cambridge rent. Everybody's like kind of getting sent back home.
Yep. Yeah, because I remember when I did when we got our first Cambridge condo, apartment. One of the big things was like I work in Cambridge, so I was like, oh, this could be perfect. It's like a mile I can walk to work every day. And
Yeah.
then like the second we like signed on the apartment, they're like, oh yeah, you can do full remote now. And we are just like, I'm not going in the office. And I'm like, all right, so this is great. I'm in a perfect location to work in the office finally. And now I don't have to deal with the 1 hour commute. And
Yeah.
like now no one's in the office. So I'm like, all right, well, good thing the location's good for like other things because that was one of the big things I wanted to do and I didn't even get to do it.
Yeah. So HubSpot had you work from home like right away and they were just like 5 days a week and then they never went back?
Yeah, yeah, we've always had the option. Um, you can like work from home, do hybrid, or work full remote, and you get like a stipend for each one. I think you get more money if you stay home, just because it lowers costs. They were able to sell one of their locations, which was like right across their second one, so it was kind of like save money on that front.
The Krusty Krab
Um,
directly across.
yeah, and I was just like, if it wasn't for the commute, I would have gone in the office. I loved going in the office when I was doing internships and stuff there. But hour 15 traffic commute to go like 10 miles was just crazy. I didn't feel like waking up at 6 in the morning to get there.
Yeah, because you were coming from Wilmington driving and you were taking the commuter rail?
No, I was just driving.
Oh, you were just
It'd be
driving.
like an hour 15.
Yeah.
And that was like while we would leave at like 6 in the morning, try to get there at 7. So that way I could get home, or like leave around 3, trying to beat traffic, and it would still be an hour each way.
I feel, and that's such a unifying thing in Boston. It's like
Mm.
and it probably wasn't even that far, like mileage. Why? What is it, like 30 miles or
Now,
so?
way less.
Wait, yeah, not
It's
even.
way less than that. Yeah. So it's like ridiculous. And that was back in like 20, even like when I first started in 2016, it was like
Yeah.
that. So it was like that for years. And that was back when they had like the free gym and everything. So I would get there early, go to the gym and everything. Then they closed the gym because of COVID, never reopened it. And I was like, why am I even going to the office anymore? There's like nothing there.
And then you had that one year in like 2020 where it was just like dead. The highways were
Yeah.
just, or
Yeah. And of
2021
course,
actually.
that year I was in Rhode Island doing my master's. So I didn't even have to go in the office. I was still doing like remote work
Yeah.
while doing my master's. So didn't even get to enjoy the no traffic.
Yeah, it was just and like I live in Watertown, so it's like when you're going from like Watertown to Charlestown, where my office is like if you get on the Pike at the wrong time, you're just sit like certain times it's like 18-20 minutes to get right there. It's
Yeah.
pretty easy. And then other times like coming back, like yesterday, it was 57 minutes. And then it's like
Jeez.
you have the Pike,
Yeah. It's so hit and miss. Yeah. I always give myself like 30 minutes of like bonus traffic just in
yeah,
case there's like an accident that they don't like. Cause you're always like, once you're stuck in the traffic, you just see that time starting to creep up and up. And you're like, okay, well, now I'm going to be late. But it's like so hard to plan like trips when you're like an hour away with traffic. And you're
yeah.
like, all right, is this going to be really an hour or not?
You're like it's just
And
gonna
it
be
is.
dead stopped in the middle of the day. Um,
Mhm.
Yeah, no, that's one of the weirdest things that was a big adjustment for like when I came here. It was like, having to deal with like, okay, it's 8 miles away. Yeah, that'll be like what, 10 minutes? And then it's like, no,
Yeah,
it's
no.
actually gonna be 35.
Yeah, at least if
Was
everything goes well.
so with working from home, were you like in your home setup, like did you have your work from home office in your bedroom and then you also just like slept in there, or did your parents give you like a space?
Yeah, so like when I had my first apartment when I was working from home, that was the first time I worked from home in North Prov. I had my desk in my bedroom just because it was a one bedroom. So it's kind of like you didn't really have an option. Now we had me, my dad, my brother, and my mom all working from home. So extra rooms were definitely limited. So like at first my brother was like working from the basement and then that started getting like not really feasible. It wasn't like great down there.
Yeah,
So now like we like remodeled a bunch of stuff. And we made one of the new rooms like a new office for him. So he works downstairs. I just kept my desk in my office. I mean, my office desk in my room. So not really like moving too far since I already did that in Rhode Island. It was fine.
yeah.
Yeah, so right now my desk is in my room, but for the new place, it's going to be in that spare bedroom.
Yeah. So now, so you bought with two, like, and then your parents just closed on that place in Florida. So
Yeah.
you think they'll go down there and like work from home and, kind of do a half and half or
Yeah, the plan, well, their plan was always like they were going to do like a month off here and here. My mom doesn't want to work for much longer. She's been saying she's going to retire for the past like 2 years.
yeah.
So we'll see what she does. But yeah, like they're like, because my mom also works from home. So it's easy for her to kind of like no time zone, work there for like a month.
Yeah.
Um, Me and my brother could probably do the same thing if we wanted to, just depending on the time, since, having it in the same time zone, not really having to worry about waking up at like 7 in the morning to go to your 9 a.m. meetings in the East Coast is so much easier.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of like the goal of the plan, but who knows if that actually happens.
So do you have to meet with clients like face to face? Well, you have to meet with clients on Zoom who are in different time zones or they're all East Coast?
Oh yeah, so like my team, I have like two people from Massachusetts, one's from Pennsylvania, one lives in Kentucky, and the person I work with most is in California.
Yeah.
So it's actually like good for me because her 9 a.m. is my noon.
So
So
you
like a lot of my meetings are like noon or later, which works out. Sometimes I do have meetings with people in Singapore. So that's when I usually have to wake up
yeah.
really early, and that's kind of a pain. We're doing like sequel kind of like trainings with
Yep.
the person from California and the person from Singapore. So that's literally like the entire world. So we have like meetings at like 7 o'clock my time, which is 7 a.m. Singapore time, and like
Uh,
I think it's like 4 California. So it's like
4 p.m.
yeah, 4 p.m. for California. I think it's like 7 for here at night, and then 7 in the morning the next day for Singapore.
Crazy.
So those meetings are crazy.
We used to, when I was at Toast, I at one point had a territory that was in San Diego, and we would
Mhm.
call in and try and like sell to restaurants in San Diego. And that was
Yeah,
like, that was great because it was like, oh, you can start your first phone call at like 11 a.m. You could drive
yeah,
in and be in the office. Like there was no traffic,
yeah,
you
yeah.
missed everything.
And you
Those,
probably just have to stay a little later.
yeah, you had to stay like maybe 1 hour later. And then with Toast, it was like, oh, we had like I think Toast was modeled off of HubSpot, where it was like, oh,
Mhm.
you get to, beer on tap and unlimited PTO and like all the stuff that like
Yeah,
Hub
yeah, yeah.
love, you know. They really pushed all that stuff. So we would like hang out after work and beers and
Mhm.
goldfish and all that stuff.
Yeah. Of course, when I went in the office, I was not 21 yet. So every time, every single time, they're like, "Oh, you want to go grab a beer?" And I'm like, "Still not 21. Don't think I should be doing that at work at least." So I was just like, "Yeah, missed all the fun stuff when I went in the office."
I was always like impressed that they were able to just leave like hundreds and hundreds of cans of like expensive craft beer,
Mm.
lying
Yeah,
around.
because they would have kegs and just be like, I think like one time an employee like invited a bunch of his friends to go to the office for a keg party
Yeah,
at
yeah.
like 8 o'clock. And they're like, yeah, guys, there's like cameras. Don't do that. They like lost their job. I think they got like they like sued him for like the money. It was just like all the drink, all like the beer they did. It was just
No kidding.
like use your head. Like that's an insane thing to do.
Well, I feel like startup world is totally different. Like I like going from a corporate office, like I had this Framingham job that was like very much like corporate prison office. Like you're in
Hmm.
the cubicle just sloughing it out. And then
Yeah.
to go like into startup world for me, that was like going into like Oz, when you're like
Yeah. Yeah.
the color and you're like, all right, like everybody here is like living in the city and having fun and like
Hmm.
all in sales and there's beer on tap. Like it was nuts.
Yeah. Definitely a good time.
The when you were like, deciding on a job, well, obviously like your mom worked at HubSpot first and then kind of got you an intro or like you knew about the company. Was it like, did you always know you wanted to work there? Did you hear like good things about the company and
So I started I think it was my summer after my freshman year of college. I started with an internship in the accounting piece.
yeah,
So I was like going in there, seeing like kind of like that was like kind of like my first look at like real office corporate work and like a building.
yeah,
Um Yeah, it was kind of like seeing everything that they do, seeing all like the platform they do, the stuff that I was working with computers, everything like that. It was really kind of like, oh, this is pretty cool. I always knew since like high school I wanted to do like in the marketing space. I thought I wanted to do like marketing.
Yeah.
Um, I originally thought I would do like advertising, stuff like that, fun stuff like that. And it was like a marketing company, like CRM at the time, or still is, but it was more like I thought of it as more of like a marketing company. So I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this would be a good way to like, oh, start here. Maybe I can get into like the marketing space more. And then as I was doing like college, masters and everything, I decided like I really want to do more work in the data space, like do like work with numbers, visuals, stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I was able to like continue to move through HubSpot, joining a bunch of different teams, seeing what worked best. Got on like a project where I was working solely with refund data as an intern during my um, master's program. And I was kind of like building up the whole refund process, creating data, basically starting from like scratch, getting data together. I think that was like 3 or 4 years ago, and I'm
Yeah.
still working with that now. So it's kind of like cool of seeing like what I could do there, and it's like evolved so much since then, where I do like even more data stuff. Um,
What does that mean? Like you were doing data stuff, like you were taking customer reports and stuff, and
yeah, so it'd be like we would have like refund data that we pull from our accounting software each month. And it was kind of like my job to find those transactions in emails that we've done with customer support
yep.
and categorizing them into like the predetermined categories we had, and then putting together visuals, graphs, trends on each category, amount count, seeing where they're spiking, what months, trying to figure out like why we might have seen a spike, investigating like big refunds, stuff like that.
Um, Andrew, hold up. Let's rejoin the Zoom because it's gonna end if I don't rejoin it.
Yep.
Give me 1 second.